BiomedRx Optimum Woman is the only woman's high-potency full-spectrum multiple vitamin supplement to contain 56 nutrients, including those most important for today's woman, such as calcium for bone health, iron for healthy red blood cells, beta-carotene, biotin for nail and hair health, gamma-linoleic acid from evening primrose oil, octasanol, grapeseed extract, a potent antioxidant important for maintaining capillary strength, and vegetarian digestive enzymes. Visit www.biomedrxsupplements.com.
Gold label quality BiomedRx CBD oil is made from organic hemp that is locally grown, glyphosate-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, homogenized, third-party tested, and CO2 extracted. Visit www.biomedrxcbd.com.
Hi, this is Devin Lockett, the president of Job Site Route. As the son of a general contractor, I know how difficult it can be to get good food on the job site. And letting your construction workers leave the job site to buy lunch just takes valuable time away from them being on the site. I've developed an app and a program that will bring a steady stream of food trucks to your job sites every month for the low price of only $100 per month per site. That comes up to about $3 per day to have a steady stream of food trucks coming to your job sites all day, every working day. You can also contact the food trucks ahead of time and pre-order your food from the menu on our app. This saves valuable time for your construction workers and for you. It also sends a variety of delicious food served on Southern California food trucks to your job sites all day. When you think about it, it only makes sense to join the Job Site Route Network.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. How you doing? Thank you. How's everybody doing today? Got some news yesterday. We were talking about Mr. Kevin Samuels, the YouTuber, very popular and very controversial YouTuber Kevin Samuels, died tragically not too long ago. And we just found out yesterday from the coroner's report that he died of hypertension. And hypertension is a condition that I, as well as many other black men, have suffered from and continue to suffer from. Hypertension is a major cause of stroke and heart attack, as well as inflammatory illnesses such as renal failure, kidney failure. It's really bad, and it's something that must be controlled. Now, I tend to control my hypertension with biomagnetism and with a healthy diet, as well as with vigorous exercise, especially cardio, a lot of cardio exercise. And I recommend that everyone else does, but I know that everybody doesn't necessarily have the ability to get out and exercise as frequently and as vigorously as I do. So with that in mind, pardon me. Sorry about that. Business called. Anyway, thank you for your patience. So what I'm going to do today, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over the basic pairs of biomagnetic pairs where we place the magnets in order to address hypertension. Now, before we get into that, I want to tell you a few basic things about biomagnetic pair therapy. Biomagnetic pair therapy is a therapy that was developed by Dr. Isaac Goiz Duran, who's a Mexican physician and scientist, along with the work of Dr. Richard Boringmeyer. And this body of work that he created gives us the ability to depolarize the relationships between pathogens that may reside in the body that may be causing any number of illnesses. Pathogens meaning viri, bacteria, fungi, parasites, and even heavy metal toxin burdens. Whenever you have the presence of a pathogen in your body, it may create a reservoir or a pocket of acidity where the pH is too low, or alkalinity where the pH is too high. In situations where the pH is too low, the negative pole of a magnet, or the north pole, will increase circulation as well as relaxation and increase the pH of that particular area. Whenever you expose an area that is too basic or the pH is too high, like in the case of bacteria such as E. coli, the positive pole of a magnet will help reduce the pH and introduce tension to that particular area. So by using a combination of positive and negative magnets at the positive and negative poles of permanent magnets, yes, go ahead and hit the subscribe and like and hit the bell for notification, comment, and all of that good stuff. By simultaneously addressing biomagnetic pairs with both positive and negative magnetic poles, we can assist the body in detoxifying itself and getting rid of the pathogens simultaneously. Now, we're going to go to the next slide where I'm going to discuss the particular pairs that have to do with hypertension. This is not going to be a practical. I'm not going to show you where to place these magnets using a model. Not right now. My son's going to be here later, but I think later on I'm going to do another show addressing autism for people's curiosity. I'm not going to use my son as a model for hypertension. But as you can see here, we have a number of pairs. All of this is written in Spanish, so if you don't understand Spanish, well, just follow my loose translation. So the first pair we're going to address here, you can follow my cursor, is aorta to aorta. As you can see here, the negative goes to the medial location, and the positive goes to the lateral location, both on the left-hand side, both over the heart. Right? The next pair is, you can see which pairs are highlighted by looking at the heavy lines here. The aortical button and the pericardium. So that's another negative magnet right here, the negative right here above the breast and positive below. You're addressing the heart when you're addressing hypertension, because with hypertension it's usually because the heart is beating too fast. Cardias suprarenalis. In other words, you're going to put one negative magnet right here, right above the xiphoid complex, and a positive magnet in the back right between the kidneys. The carotid to the carotid. You see right there? Normally, if my blood pressure is high, I notice it when I'm trying to tie my tie. I notice it in my neck. And that's because of hypertension in the carotid artery. So you can see the negative and positive where they go on the carotid. Cervical number 4 to cervical number 4. You know, perhaps I should pause this music. I like the music, but maybe it's better if you guys just heard me, talking about these pairs without listening to the music for right now. Okay, so cervical number 4 to cervical number 4. Follow where my mouse is. It's here toward the bottom of the screen. And you can see this is on either side of cervical vertebrae number 4. Remember, whenever you're doing biomagnetic pair therapy, if you're going to try this at home, or if you want to try this and do this on yourself, make sure that you are well hydrated and the person who is applying the magnets is also well hydrated. If you are the therapist, make sure that you are well hydrated. As you can see, I always keep a great big cup of water right here. I'm always drinking water. Make sure you're well hydrated, and make sure that your the object of the treatment is well hydrated. Okay. I'm going to try to pronounce this in Spanish. Esternocleidomastoideo to esternocleidomastoideo. Right there. Okay, you can see where it is on the neck. Just below the carotid. All right. Flanco to flanco. Negative to positive. I would be tempted to use my rare earth magnets, my stronger magnets, in these locations, the locations that actually hit the middle of the body. Okay. But that depends. the earlobe to the earlobe, here at the top of the ear, okay? Sometimes you'll find pairs in locations that will make you scratch your head and go, well, what does this have to do with high blood pressure? But you'll be surprised. Lumbar number 3 to dorsal number 3. Lumbar vertebrae number 3 to the dorsal vertebrae number 3. The wrist to the kidney, the negative on the right wrist, positive on the left kidney. I'm going to talk to you about that later on. The vagus nerve to the vagus nerve. Okay, so now we have 3 pairs on the neck. The center of the ear to the right temporal. And I'm going to talk to you about the right temporal lobe as well. Pericardio to pericardial. You see my mouse here at the top? The nipple, for lack of a better term, with the the kidney on the same side, okay? Pleura to pleura on the same side, negative to positive. Again at the wrist, radial pulse to the radial pulse. Rectum to rectum. Kidney to kidney. That's why I was going to hold off my discussion about the kidneys. I usually address the kidneys with both negative and positive. Positive being at the superior, meaning closer to the head side of the magnets, because I want the positive to be able to excite the adrenal glands in order to stimulate them to release adrenaline throughout the procedure. And I want the negative to be directly on to the kidney. When you get biomagnetic pair therapy, it's pretty much like acupuncture. You're gonna, find, a dozen different practitioners have a dozen different ways of doing it. What I find is, as time goes on, you develop a relationship with your magnets, believe it or not, and you develop an understanding, a mental, cognitive, as well as a spiritual understanding of your energy as combined with the energy, the natural energy of permanent magnets, of natural magnets. So eventually you will develop that ability to apply, not only to have and possess and manifest that relationship with your magnets, but you'll be able to apply that energy for healing in order to heal people. So treating the kidneys is something that I do usually, and the liver as well, regardless of what you're coming to me for. Okay, cien bulbo. The bulbo is the brain stem, and cien is what we call the temple, and it's on the right hand side. The right hand side is the non-dominant hemisphere of your brain. In other words, because your heart is primarily on the left side of your body, the left hemisphere of your brain receives more blood, and therefore the left hemisphere of your brain is more pronounced than the right hemisphere of your brain. Everyone's made this way. So many of the conditions that we have with regard to behavior or emotions are very effectively addressed with magnets applied to the right hemisphere of the brain, especially the temporal lobe, which holds many memories, and the parietal lobe. The same, again, cien riñón, kidney to the temple. And here again, temple to temple, cien to cien. Cien suprarrenal, temple to right above the kidney. Now, normally I would tell you that ignore the fact that certain pairs would require multiple magnets in the same location. Just go ahead and put them as close as you can. With head magnets, maybe not, because sometimes, the person's face is simply not big enough to house all of the magnets, even if you have, little tiny magnets, which are the ones that I use for the head and for the face. So sometimes you may want to, if you know that you're going to have a cluster of negative magnets in a particular location, you may just swap that out with a bigger magnet, but don't go with one that is rare earth or neodymium that has a very high Gauss, because you're dealing with the head. You want to use ferrite, regular ferrite ceramic magnets. Okay, suprarrenal, which is right between the kidneys, which is the negative, and then the positive on the lung, although they're illustrating them in reverse. Temporal jugular vein. Okay, so right here again on the right hand side, right, the right temporal lobe. Your temporal lobe is not just here where we call the temple. It goes all the way to the back of your head. Okay. It is a store for memories. This is why you can elicit certain emotions with music, or you can bring back certain memories with the sound of music, or certain sounds. Sometimes you have emotion attached to sounds very, very often. A siren, a dog barking, a person screaming, a baby crying. We all have emotional triggers to certain sounds. And that's because of the temporal lobe and its proximity to the ears. Thyroids and wrists, okay? Right in the center, negative on the thyroid, positive on the left wrist. Once again, the jugular vein and the left temple. Okay, now that concludes hypertension arterial. We're going to go in, well, I think that's pretty much it, yeah. That's it. So once again, remember, always make sure that you are very well hydrated whenever you are doing biomagnetic pair therapy, whether you're doing it to someone else or whether it's being done to you. And we can bring that beat back, right? And we can actually transition back to the other office. Let me get scene one here. Yes, thank you. So, yeah, that concludes my discussions of biomagnetic pairs for hypertension. Hypertension is something that you can't just ignore. You know, it is something that is very common among black men. It is something that, a condition that I have suffered from as well in my life. The management of which is an ongoing challenge, to be perfectly honest, with regard to maintaining my diet and as well as my exercise, right? Diet, exercise, a lot of things come into play when you're managing hypertension. However, if you find yourself experiencing an episode of hypertension, or someone that you love, and you have access to a good set of biomagnetic pair therapy magnets, then save this video and refer to it whenever you need to understand where to place the magnets to address hypertension. It was tragic that Mr. Samuels had to die at such a young age. I mean, he and I were practically the same age, and this is too young of an age to go. And I want to see people live a very high quality of life. You know, even if you don't die from hypertension, you can also take out your kidneys. I mean, it really, it's really a bad thing. It's really not a good thing. So, that being said, I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I want to thank you all for joining me. I'm going to go live again later on when I have my son Kai Kai here, my model. I think we're going to do another practicum where I'm going to show the biomagnetic pairs to address the autism spectrum. Remember, I opened this clinic, the BiomedRx Health Center, specifically to recover my son from the autism spectrum, and I successfully have done so. Contrary to my detractors and those who would like to believe otherwise. I want everyone to stay kind, as always, because kind is not only the new sexy, kind is the only sexy. I want you to stay blessed, and I want you to stay healthy. Thank you for watching BiomedRx TV, and I will see you on the next live.
Gold label quality BiomedRx CBD oil is made from organic hemp that is locally grown, glyphosate-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, homogenized, third-party tested, and CO2 extracted. Visit www.biomedrxcbd.com.
BiomedRx Optimum Woman is the only woman's high-potency full-spectrum multiple vitamin supplement to contain 56 nutrients, including those most important for today's woman, such as calcium for bone health, iron for healthy red blood cells, beta-carotene, biotin for nail and hair health, gamma-linoleic acid from evening primrose oil, octosanol, grapeseed extract, a potent antioxidant important for maintaining capillary strength, and vegetarian digestive enzymes. Visit www.biomedrxsupplements.com.